Welcome back, everybody. Let's complete our tour of the Boss 200 series today and check out the OD-200 hybrid drive. This is using a combination of analog and digital circuitry to offer up a bunch of iconic overdrive and distortion circuits, as well as some Boss originals. I'm playing my YJM Strat at the moment, and this is the tone with the pedal bypass. Alrighty, so let's look at the layout really quickly. If you've seen my other videos on the 200 series, this is going to look really familiar. 2 foot switches, which you can assign internally. When you take it out of the box, this just functions as the bypass, and this will let you select the onboard memories, of which there are 4. But if you hold it down, this will let you access the boost function. The really cool thing about the hybrid drive is you can stack drives internally. You can use the onboard 3-band EQ, the drive, and the level along with the effect type selector to have your main drive, but then you can use this parameter control and the parameter knob to select any of these modes you like as an additional boost, which you can run in series or in parallel, which is really cool. There's also an onboard gate, which is going to be very handy for running this into crunchy style amps. The first mode I want to showcase is the Klon Centaur mode, because let's face it, we're all going to scroll to the Centaur and be like, ooh, you know, the most expensive overdrive pedal ever. I got to try a mode based on that one. I've also got an expression pedal hooked up so I can control the gain with my foot. Unfortunately, foot cam was not available today, so you're just going to see my face going as I turn the gain up. Let's hear this Klon Centaur mode, and then let's stack some drives into it. So I haven't even touched the EQ or the level. They're all set in the middle, and that already sounds fat, which is really nice. Before we tweak any of that stuff, let's select a boost type. You know, what could we put in front of a Klon Centaur? Why not another Klon Centaur? So I can use the parameter control, and I've selected the Centaur mode there. And then if I press the parameter button, I can set the amount of pre-gain and the amount of post-gain. So it's kind of run like this. You've got your main drive mode. Before the drive mode, you've got a gain boost, and after the drive mode, you've essentially got like a volume boost, so you can hit the amp harder, or if you're using this as your main drive, it's going to give you a volume boost. So that is how they are set. I'll just scroll over to the mode so I don't forget that. Have a listen to this. A Klon into a Klon. This would cost you like maybe $5,000 or something in the real world. You can hear a little bit of how it cleans up with the volume control there. Let's stack a different drive into this Klon. Let's maybe try the good old Tube Screamer. This is what it sounds like. So that's the really cool thing that I enjoy, is being able to stack drives internally. Let's hear some of these other drive modes. We will go all the way back I guess, to where most people would start, which is the overdrive. We'll hear clean, and then I'll kick it in and tweak it a bit. That's pretty cool. That definitely has shades of my Boss Super Overdrive, which is one of my favorite guitar-related things ever. Being able to add a bit of low end and a bit of mid-range is really nice. A lot of overdrive pedals just have a tone control a lot of the time, which is just a shelving filter. So 3-band EQ is really, really nice. Let's hear the blues driver. The blues drivers that I've tried have all been really, really bright. So I'm going to set the EQ neutral, and I'm assuming this will probably be a bit too much, especially on the bridge pickup of this guitar, but I'll be able to tame it with the EQ. Let's hear this. I'm loving that combo with the expression pedal as well. It's really, really nice. Let's hear the tube screamer, because you got to have a tube screamer in one of these pedals. Let's do just that, and then I can stack like a tube screamer into a tube screamer. I'll get that ready. I've got this guy here. So the boost is going to be a tube screamer, but we've got a tube screamer on top of a tube screamer when I press this button. First, a tube screamer. And the tube screamer is always super mid-heavy. There's a helicopter flying overhead because there's fires somewhere nearby while I do all of this, which is very nice. You can bring the mids out with this and give it like a low-end boost to give you more of a neutral style drive. And we have to hear that with the gate into a dirty amp at the end of all of this. So let's go over to the X drive. This is one of the newer drive types, which I believe uses some multi-band kind of stuff going on, which is really interesting. I'll just level everything out and then we can hear it. That's super cool. You can hear how crispy and clear the low end is there without the high end sort of running away and getting too crazy, which is one of the nice advantages of that X drive, whatever it is, the X series technology in there. While we're doing that, we'll hear the X-Distortion. Sounds like this. That kind of sounds a little bit ratty in the high end. It's also noisy, so I can go over to here. Let's use the onboard gate. Look at that, I barely had to touch it, and it is killing all that hiss. I think it might be that time of the video to switch over to a guitar with humbuckers, so let's do that. All right, let's just try that next to the normal distortion mode. And I have to say, that sounds better than any Boss DS1 or variant that I've ever tried into this sort of clean amp. Ideally, a bunch of the other modes I think would work great running into some kind of power amp return. I should do that in a separate video because we've got the stack drive, we've got the fat distortion. Let's try the fat distortion. We haven't tried that just yet, so I think it's this one. That's really cool. That feels really good, which is quite surprising. And I love that you can just go, you know what? I want to stack a Klon in front of this. Let's do it. So that is the fat distortion. There's also the brown mode from the Katana. I don't know how good this is going to sound into a clean amp, but let's try it. I think that needs to go into a power amp return. Let's try the X Metal because, you know, we got to try this. That wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard. Let's keep going. As I suspected, I'm not super into that mode with this particular setup. I do need to try it into a power amp return. What else haven't I tried? The stack drive. Let's try the stack drive. I imagine this is another amp style one. I'm also out of tune, which isn't a good thing, so I'll fix that. I want to try some of these modes in parallel, and then we'll try some of those modes that I said into a power amp return, and then we'll try some of these into a dirty amp, mostly focusing on the Tube Screamer and the Centaur, because they're some of my favorite real-world overdrives into crunchy amps. Okay, I'm in parallel mode now, and I've got the Tube Screamer as my main drive, and I've also set up the Klon Centaur as well. In this mode, these controls control both drives. So let's just play. I should clarify as well, it's the Tube Screamer in parallel with the Centaur there. Let's try like a Tube Screamer in parallel with an Overdrive. This is wild. I probably need to spend a bit of time and get some combinations, but I really like that Tube Screamer together with that. I also realized I didn't use the Fuzz in the other demo, so let's hear the Fuzz. By the way, if you press these two buttons together, you can navigate to the thing that says STR, which is structure. Press this button and you can put it back in series. So let's just hear the good old Fuzz. I quite like that tone with the volume rolled off there. Being able to control the mid-range with a Fuzz, turn it down, you get the big muff thing, turn it up, you get a totally different thing going on there. So let's do this now. I'm going to swap over to a dirty amp sound, and I want to try some of these modes with the gate to get some really tight metal style sounds, and then I want to try some of them in parallel as well. All right, here's the dirty sound. It's a little bit flubby and fizzy. let's do this. Let's go to the Tube Screamer mode, which I think is this one. I'm going to turn the drive all the way down to 0. I'm going to turn the level all the way up. These are the sort of classic Tube Screamer style boost things. We will set the EQ in the middle to start with, but I'm probably going to do a bit of sculpting with this, especially with this bass control. Okay, so this is what happens when we kick in the Tube Screamer. I'm just fiddling with the gate at the moment. I want that really staccato style thing, so I'll turn the decay down. This should be pretty cool. That is sick. This is really, really cool. I always like using sort of like a Tube Screamer in front of a dirty amp, but I also like using graphic EQs and like EQ pedals basically to sort of sculpt the tone. And this lets you do both. This is pretty amazing. What we could do is, let's do this. One of my other favorite boosts is the Klon Centaur. So let's run the Centaur using this mode here. So I can go and set it as the boost, set as a Centaur. I've got them running in parallel. So let's have a listen to what happens when I kick on the Klon with the Tube Screamer. This is just the Tube Screamer. That's pretty amazing, actually. So if you like tight boosted metal tones, this is well worth a look because you can get these hybrid modes in parallel. Like I was really gravitating towards there, the Tube Screamer and the Centaur is pretty amazing. You could use any of the other modes that you like. So not just having one boost, but having two pre-boosts in parallel with a tweakable gate that you can run into your dirty amp. You can hear, remember, this is the bypass sound. So I'm going to leave it there for the OD-200. I didn't get a chance in this demo to run any of those modes into power amp returns, but I have a feeling that the brown mode and the stack drive should sound great. So I will do a follow-up video exploring those. Hopefully you got to hear some tones that you enjoyed in this video, and hopefully I was able to demonstrate the flexibility of the OD-200, because it just kind of looks like, oh, cool, another overdrive pedal, but the fact that you can stack drives with it, the fact there is a gate in there, and the fact you can set the structure to parallel and essentially create your own custom modes that you may not have been able to hear in the real world is super duper cool. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and I will see you next time.